this week on the Digital Lifestyle Show, Gary's here, and we're going to catch up with some of our projects. I'm going to be talking about some of the tutorials that I've done for the Multi-Poly and the Wavestate. Some really good stuff, I think, coming for that, and a teaser on some of the videos that I've been working on. Gary's got a load of smart home news, we're talking about that, and we've got new Surface devices. We're going to be doing a more in-depth show on Surface devices, but I just wanted to mention some of the new devices that are out from Microsoft. So let's get straight to Gary. Gary, good evening.
Good evening.
We're back again with another catch-up show. We had a guest last week. That was good fun last week.
Yeah, that was a good show last week. I listened to that. That's really good.
A bit of Synth from France. Which was really good to hear. So I thought what we'd do is a catch up on some of our projects and things that we've been working on, some news that we're working on. I know there are a couple of some surfaces that have been announced. So we can have a quick touch and a quick look on those subjects as well. So what have you been working on this week?
Well, I've been playing a bit. So I think I mentioned this last time I was on. I was getting a Blink outdoor camera to look at the latest model, but actually it wasn't so much to review the outdoor camera itself, but the battery extension module, which is quite it's very impressive actually. It does. I mean, so it takes the place of two batteries in the actual unit and replaces it with four batteries. So you're sort of effectively doubling your battery life. And it's a unit which is plugs into the back of the other unit. So you take the back off the normal Blink camera and you take the two batteries out, and this unit basically plugs in where those two batteries are. Wouldn't be normally sitting in, and then screws it in. Doesn't mean you can't use the USB port, which is one thing disadvantage to it. But I guess if you're using the battery extension pack, you're not going to be using USB power. Yeah. It's sort of like a trade-off. Although some people I know have said something about not being able to use solar panels in this configuration, which is possibly a damage. What was really interesting though to me was that you can't just plug it in and it works. But it kind of just works. I mean, you just power it on, but it doesn't monitor properly in the Blink app. If you do that, it doesn't monitor the battery usage. So it still thinks it's only got two batteries in. So you have to add the battery extension model in the Blink app as well, and then associate it with the camera you plugged it into. Right. And then it starts monitoring properly. So, but yeah, I mean, other than that, it seems to work really well. Just plug and play. Other than that little bit of configuration, and then it works. It definitely extends the battery life. And then I set two of these cameras up, one with the extension pack on, one with the non-extension pack on, monitoring the same hallway, so they're getting the same level of traffic, and it's noticeably better on the extension module. Haven't got to the point now where I can say how long it lasts. It's probably I have to wait a year or maybe even 2 years for that, the way it goes. But with a reasonably high level of traffic in the last few weeks, one's gone down 1%, the other one's gone down 2.5%. And I bet you guess which one's gone down to 1%, which is the battery extension model one. So it's actually slightly better than just having the two batteries, which seems than double the two batteries, which seems a bit odd. You'd think. I'm not quite sure why that would be the case, but it's definitely working very well. I remember way back when we had the Blink guys on the show talking about this battery technology. They were working on that before they were acquired by Amazon. So it's such a clever technology. This low use of batteries. I mean, okay, yes, it's not a continuous feed, but it does take pictures and video whenever there's anything transgression across the top. And you can do it without a subscription.
Yeah, that's the good thing I like about it. There's no subscription. I leave mine plugged in. Well, it's got two AA batteries in there, and I think they've been in probably a year or so now. Yeah, it's in the garden at the back, and I've got it to switch off after. I think I did it at 8 a.m. between 8 a.m. and say 9 p.m. at night, because if you're in the garden, that does sap your battery. Yeah. If you're constantly triggering it, but during the day, it's not some issue. It would be nice. Maybe I could arm it when I'm not here, but then it's not just me, there's other people as well, so I wouldn't want to arm it just when I'm not here. So but actually it works quite well. The front door camera, the Arlo one, that actually works well with batteries as well. It's got a rechargeable battery pack, which I think I mentioned before. I have two of them, and I'll just charge one up. Well, when it goes flat, I put the charged one in and put the other one on, the one I've just taken out on charge, so I never have a period of time without any battery, is I just always swapping it to the next pack that's just needs charging up, and that works quite well. But that lasts about 3 months, something like that, between charges. But that's more of a high footfall, the front door one. I leave that permanently armed as well. But yeah, I think if anything goes wrong with that Arlo camera, I think I would look at Blink as a replacement. So the front door would be a high footfall one, so I would look at the battery extender for that as well to make that a bit more useful. Yeah, that's pretty good, though.
Yeah, it's really good. And the other thing is I've managed to integrate it into Home Assistant as well, so that on my dashboard, if there's an alert, it opens up the picture on the dashboard, sort of big front and center. So no matter whichever dashboard you're looking at, you can see this alert pop up. So that's quite cool.
Yeah.
And it works very well.
Yeah, that's quite a good idea, that. Now, one thing I wanted to mention as well for this week is there's actually a couple of new Surface announced, and I think we're going to do a show a bit more detail on these in a few weeks' time. I just wanted to mention these while it was fresh in my mind, so I can share my window here for the video viewers. But there's a couple of different ones. The first one is a Surface Laptop 5G, which is actually the first 5G Surface laptop that they've released, actually, and it looks really nice. I do like that form factor that they introduced. It's got a slightly redesigned since the other one, which mine is down here. Sort of a tapered front to it. Looks quite nice. A black cover to that one. But I think it's a laptop for business, isn't it? These ones as well. So you can get this through Microsoft Direct or through the different partner stores, but it's got the Intel processor in it as well. So the Core Ultra Series 2 processor starts shipping at the end of August, and yeah, that's quite a good one for business. I think this is the one, if I remember rightly, that drops the touchscreen. I'm pretty sure that this one doesn't have the touchscreen, and that's because Microsoft said that very relatively few people were actually using a touchscreen on a laptop, on the laptop. So which kind of makes sense. I think I can kind of see the point on there. But adding the 5G capability to it is really nice as well, isn't it? So if you're out in the field, you can just you don't need to tether it or use Wi-Fi or anything else. So I think they've had a 5G connected Pro for a while, but this is the first laptop one, and I do like that form factor. I like the touch sort of foldingness of the Pro, but I think if you're not bothered about touch and then pen, then the laptop is a really good device. Yeah, 5G as well. They also announced a new Pro 12-inch one as well. So this is a Pro for business. So this is a bit smaller, isn't it, than the I guess the one I've. So this is the ARM powered one I've got, which I think is a 13 point something screen, isn't it, on those? And this is a 12-inch, so it's smaller. It's smaller than the other one, but bigger than the Surface Go. And this one uses the AMD processor, and again, so it's got a new keyboard as well because it's the smaller screen. Microsoft say it's got 16 hours of battery life. It's got the pen, I think, clips around the back rather than in the keyboard like the 13 one with the, I can't remember what they call these keyboards now, but they've got a name for this keyboard. So this is the detachable keyboard on the Surface Pro with the pen built into it, but it actually works wirelessly as well, unlike some of the other Surface keyboards. I think this one is one that you have to have connected, but like you do with the older Surface Pros or the Surface Go. But it's a nice form factor. That I'm guessing this is maybe aimed at field workers. Using the pen, a slightly smaller device. Slightly cheaper as well. I think I looked at the prices, and I think this was couple £100 cheaper than the. Let's have a look at the prices there. You can get it on the Microsoft Store. It was a couple £100 cheaper than the other one, so the bigger one. So here we go. So the Surface Pro, the Intel one is 1400, and if you get the that's the 13-inch screen. The 12-inch one is 949. So there's a good £500 cheaper on there. It's got all Copilot and everything else, and it'll have the what do they call it now? I forgot what it's calling now. You know, where you can recall, Windows Recall. That's what, I couldn't recall what the name was. Which is actually pretty cool. Actually, it's got the Windows Recall like the other Intel one, the AMD, the Snapdragon powered device has. But yeah, nice, lighter as well. So if you look at the weight on there, it's 872 grams for the Intel one and 668 for the 12-inch Snapdragon one. So that's quite a change of that. So you've got a choice now. You can go for the Intel one, you can go for the Snapdragon one, or you can go for the smaller 12-inch one. But interesting, they're only selling that as a business one. You can still buy it from the Microsoft Store. It just doesn't appear on their main store, and I guess there must be some other stuff there. Still, I think if you want a cheaper one, the Surface Go there from 529 is still a good price. Yeah, it's good to see though that these Microsoft are continuing with the evolving that Surface line. And I'm surprised they actually added another hardware form factor. So you've got the Surface Studio 2, you've got the AMD versions of the laptop, you've got the Intel version, and the Snapdragon versions are the Snapdragon versions of these, and then you've got the Intel versions of the Go. So they've got quite a lineup on there. So I think it'll definitely make a good in-depth call, podcast which we'll do on the future. In terms of using it for things like I like to do, like the music production and stuff like that, the Snapdragon ones I've found that hit the limitations with that. Some of the providers like Korg and others stop their drivers from installing on the Snapdragon ones. They say that it says the platform isn't supported. Some work fine. So I've had limited success where there is a native version, like Cubase do a native ARM version. It works brilliantly. So that's what you need, those native ones on there. But if you get the Intel one, of course, you've no issues with compatibility. Everything just works on there. So yeah, so we'll get more info on that on a future show. I think the 12-inch is available now, and the 13-inch laptop 5G one is coming at the end of August. I think 26th of August. So, interesting there that Microsoft are pursuing the AMD stuff. I mean, there was, I think, a few occasions where we wondered whether they were really committed to ARM as a platform, and they do seem to be committed. Their own devices are coming out with it, and other manufacturers are bringing out ARM devices.
Yeah.
Certainly for battery life, I love this for battery life. This is my sort of go-to device for, for if I want long battery life. Although I was saying that, if I'm going out and about and on meetings, this is the one I take with me, the Surface Go. I suppose the clue's in the name, isn't it? But actually, it's a great thing. I use it for taking notes in OneNote with the pen. And I've got enough stuff, if in an emergency, you've got everything you need on here as well. So you can have your full office suite and everything else. So still, for me, that's a great one for traveling. But if you want one device, then I think the Surface Pro is still one device that you can use pen, and everything else is still a good one. Although I'm still using my laptop studio here for doing all the podcasts and the video editing, things like that. It's still a nice device for me. Right, so other things I wanted to share. So, if you are over on the music side of things, I've done quite a few new videos and tutorials. So I just released one today. That if you've got Wavestate, then check out this, because I've created a video on how to recreate classic Wavestation sounds on the Korg Wavestate. So the Korg Wavestation came out in 1989, 1990, and was a really unique sounding synth and used loads of people in the 90s. Jan Hammer and many others. The new Wavestate, or the newish Wavestate, a few years old now, has a lot of these wave sequences built into it. So I've got a tutorial on here on how to recreate those on the synth as well. So if you've got a Wavestate, you can any of the different models of Wavestate, including the software version, the native version. I'll show you how to recreate some of the classic patches on there, including like Ski Jam and the presets that are on there as well. So check out that video. I think you'll find that useful. I've also got some 5-minute tutorial videos out as well. Creating sync lead sounds, brass sounds. That's the one I've been working on latest. So this is if you've got a multi-poly and you want to create those big analog synth brass sounds from the sort of 80s, CS-80, Jupiter 8, that kind of thing. I'll show you how to do that in 5 minutes. So I quite enjoyed doing those 5-minute tutorials. It's sometimes quite challenging for me to get under 5 minutes, to force myself to work under 5 minutes, but it's quite a nice challenge. I know that not everybody wants to watch a 25-minute video on sound design, so these 5-minute ones just give you enough flavor, and usually I create a free download to go with them as well. So check out those videos. All my 5-minute patches usually have a link, so you can get the free patch, usually the one that I did during the making of the video, because I don't sort of pre-record them or anything like that. I just do it on the fly. So that's always fun. Couple of things I mentioned as well is I'm working on another volume of community patches. So this is where I've taken contributions from the community to make sound patches. So if you've got a sound that you've made for the Wavestate, the monopoly or the multipoly, and you maybe got a set you want to release and you want to release a taster of them, or you don't want to create a whole set, you just want 1 or 2 sounds that you want to release, then you can send them to me and I'm going to collect these together. I'm just working on volume 2 of the multipoly collection as well. So send those over to me and I'll put them together, make the video and everything else, and create the sound pack for those. I've also got a couple of packs I'm working on. I've posted a teaser to the CS-80 one, so the Yamaha CS-80, that's the big one, the big Vangelis one, I think Blade Runner. I've recreated some of those sounds on the multipoly, so I got one of the emulated the CS-80 and listened to lots of examples on YouTube and others from the originals and created a set inspired then. So some of them they're not exactly 1-for-1 copies, but they're inspired by that big sort of Vangelis sound. So I've got a pack of those coming soon. And another one I've just finished as well is I've just sampled my multipoly and then brought those over to the Wavestate so that you can have those sounds on the Wavestate. That was quite a lot of work doing my own samples. So, but that set is coming soon as well, a couple of weeks for that as well. So plenty to be going on with. Check out the YouTube channel for all the details, and the downloads are on thedigital-lifestyle.com. So that's what I've been up to in the last couple of weeks, music-wise.
Very cool, and a really good listen as well. So.
Oh yes, and the song, I played the end of last week's song, that's Sorrento Sunset. So that was inspired by my recent travels, and I wanted to create a video for it, but it's kind of how videos can, it's hard work. So I didn't want to just have a static image, so I got some pictures and a bit of crossfading, and to create a video that goes along with the song. So that's on Spotify now. The album's done. I'm just finishing off the pictures and the titles and everything else. That should be out in a couple of weeks as well.
Very cool. So you didn't decide to use AI to create your video?
No, I didn't. No, I didn't. I was going to. Yeah, I was. It's something I'd definitely consider. But for this, I don't know whether it's too much controlling. Some things work quite well, but I have this sort of picture or a thing in my head, and I couldn't quite get any AI to do what I wanted, so I just did it myself. But there are some AI video creation tools now. There's quite a few of those I noticed. Out there.
Yeah, definitely some really. Google's latest version is pretty impressive for doing what you can do.
Yeah, that's a good idea for one of my future tracks, I think.
Yeah, give it a go. So I've been playing with a few things. I mentioned the Blink 5 outdoor cam. I've also got this little device here, which I don't see in the cam. I know you played a bit with Link and Link stuff.
Oh yes, yes.
So this is the Link and Link
there,
Emotion Pro, which I don't think you've actually had a go with yet. But quite a nice little device. But if you're out of the box, so it's a presence sensor. It's one of these microwave based presence sensors, so it detects human heartbeats. It's quite clever. It's able to sort of do zones and work out where in the room people are. But the really cool thing from my point of view is that it integrates so well into smart home systems, any smart home system, because it's using MQTT. So as long as you've got an MQTT broker, then you can use this with anything like smart things, or you can use it with, and it's really well integrated in the home assistant. You can obviously use their own app as well, which works really well. But yeah, it's and you set it up in the app, and then you can use it in Home Assistant or wherever, just very, very easily. And they give you full instructions on how to do it, and it seems to work really well. And for the price, it's just remarkable. I mean, it undercuts the car. It's just undercutting a car is a bit of a thing in its own right, because the car used to be one of the cheap suppliers of technology for smart home. So yeah, very impressed with that. Working well.
I quite like that. I've got the older presence sensor. I don't really do much with it, but it does tell when I'm in the office. It does know when I'm in here. There's a bit of a lag, which is okay, because you don't want it flicking on and off all the time. But yeah, I quite like that.
Yeah, so it just seems to work. Unlike the car one, which seems to have a lot of issues now since they've done the firmware upgrade, date with ghosts and things like that, which are hallucinating that it's actually got presence. This one seems to be rock solid. So I'm thinking of trying to use it for sort of follow me lights, because it's got that zone thing. I want to sort of see if I can actually get it to zone the light in around. Just
that's a good idea.
Yeah,
I mean, I've tried a few things. I've got motion sensors and other things in here with the light, and I've never quite got it right. The presence sensor is better, but I haven't quite got exactly what I want to do. So I think having that follow is quite a nice solution, especially if you've got multiple people in the house, because it's not just you it's following. It can follow more than one person, can't it? It'd be quite nice if I could have linked up with my Sonos, so that my music followed me around. I suppose it's wasting a bit of energy. But if I'm up here listening to the music and I go downstairs, I'd have to go into the app and change it. It would be quite nice if it just said, "Oh, I can see you're going downstairs. Your music. Well, I'll turn the downstairs speaker on," and that'd be quite. I don't know whether Sonos has APIs for all that though, but it would be quite nice if you could. That's where these closed systems like the Sonos sort of fall down a little bit, don't they? That they've not got but then saying that it does work really well. I mean, I've got the Sonos 5 downstairs with an audio in, and my record player is connected to it. And I got for her birthday a few weeks ago, my son's got me a new Tangerine Dream album, which it's 1980. It's a new new thing that they've done, and I wanted to listen to it, but I was up here, so I can just put it through the Sonos and the Sonos up here, and I can listen to it up here, even though it's not on downstairs on the one it's plugged into. It's very clever. It works really well, so I can listen to vinyls up here. Now the only thing you have to go downstairs to turn it over. But that's first world problems. But the whole audio with Sonos does work really well, especially when I get it through my big TV, surround sound, and everything else. Yeah, but I like that idea. Presence sensor, follow you around, bring your music, bring you, and even like your assistant. If your assistant knows you, because it's a bit like ChatGPT's. If you used it for a bit, or Copilot, it builds up your history, and and I suppose depending on who's talking, to have that assistant with your assistant, as opposed to say my wife's assistant or your kid's assistant, that would be quite interesting as well. So it's a combination.
I'm kind of thinking of using it in conjunction with the the presence sensing I've already done. So I've mentioned this before, where I'm using the SP32s to actually do Bluetooth presence sensing of the phone. So if it knows my phone's in this room, then, but quite often when I come in the room, I'll put my phone down on the dock, so it won't know exactly where I am in the room. It just knows I'm in the room. So then use that with the presence sensing to actually trigger the lights and etc. So you can actually tell I'm halfway through rewriting automations in this room, because normally the lights would be on because I'm sitting in here. The presence sensor is actually picking me up, but it's not actually triggering the lights. I'm having to do the manually at the moment, because, well, it's not manually, but I can, I'm actually being lit by one little tiny light bar at the side. Which is enough. It gives me light and let's plunge the rest of the room into darkness, which is quite. I mean, it's quite effective look, I guess. It's
you can have the low down look for the low down lighting for the horror look.
Yeah, I can do that. I can put it underneath the room if I want to.
Have a House of Horror.
Yeah, don't quite want to do that. The interesting thing is, I'm actually one of the things that a lot of movies do use is actually use pink light for illuminating faces, because it emphasises the facial tones without showing all the cranks and creases. So it makes you look younger, apparently. I'm not sure it works. But
I've got a light over there which is colour changing. Well, I'm going to go for pink for the next show that we do.
Let's see how it goes. Yeah.
Yeah, as opposed to bleaching the white light out or something like that. Yeah.
Yeah, so that's kind of where we are. But
yeah, it's good, isn't it? It is fun playing with these different solutions, and my next thing really is to not so much automation. I'm just trying to think. Every now and again I like to move my synths around and reorganize myself, and just it sometimes inspires something different. I find just a keyboard in a different position. That sometimes inspires something different. But I've got everything on smart plugs in here now, so I've got half the studio on this side on one smart plug and half the other one over there, so I can have this bit up, all that bit up, or both up at the same time. Just do it with a voice command. Is there anything else you wanted to go through for this week?
I'll tell you something. Let's get these lights back on again. So I think I have to do manually, but I'm exploring something at the moment, which so obviously I think you're aware we're doing a bit of a house renovation at the moment. So I've been looking into various technologies for heating the house and various bits of the house. And it's interesting. You start looking into different sort of technologies for different areas. So one area I really want to look at is the ability to warm just the floor in the bathroom in the bathroom. So I've been looking at the idea of underfloor heating, and and obviously you can have wet and you can have electric, and I've been looking for something which could work under various materials, because one of the problems we've got, it's a really small area and nobody makes a heating mat that small. So, and you can't cut them with heating mats. So so what I really need is a heating mat which can go from the floor in the bathroom into this front edge of the area around the bathroom, which is in the bedroom, which would be under carpet. And you can't. It's not easy to do that because there's all sorts
of walls.
Walls and things in there, and possible of overrunning that. So, but I found this. You see this is an underfloor heating kit, 1.5 meters long, which is actually able to work under all materials, and it's basically a foil. It's got a shot of it somewhere on there, but it's a foil heating mat. So so it's all the wires are actually in the heating mat, and then you can just about see the image. You sort of have the cable running inside the mat, and then you just put it underneath your surface. So it seems to work pretty well, to be honest. So I should be trying that out in a few weeks' time. I'll obviously have to get the electrician to actually wire it in, because you can't Part P regulations, you can't wire those in itself. But I've also got a thermostat to go with it, which will be smart home controllable as well. So I can monitor if someone accidentally turns the heat up too high, because you do have to limit it. If you put it under certain floor range, you have to limit it to 27 or 26 degrees. So there's a lot of things I've been learning about underfloor heating recently. So more on that later.
And how is it wired in? Is it just going to have to go into like a spur, or is it the
mains? It has to have, it has its own spur, and it's supposed to have its own RCD and etc. So it's basically its own circuit. So which is fine. I'm going to get the electrician to put that in, and then this bit actually just wires into a thermostat, and the thermostat has a probe which goes underneath it to show what the temperature of the floor actually is, so the floor doesn't get too hot. Which it should work quite well. Hopefully, I've just got to find the right work out the right plan for it, because basically what you do. So if you imagine you've got a U loop and then another U loop going the other way of the cable, and when you get to so you roll the mat out. When you get to the end of the wall, you basically cut underneath one of those U's, avoiding cutting the U itself, of course, of the mat, and then you just bend it back the other way, so you maintain the continuity of the cable,
right,
and push it back going the other way. So but you've got to plan that out before you start, because it's the minimum size this one comes in is 1.5 meters squared, which is challenging to get into some of the spaces you've got. So there's some good videos like that. I've found some really good YouTube videos which actually sort of help on how you should do it. So I think I can do it in terms of laying it, and then just obviously wiring it up will be down to the electrician. And it does need an electrical safety check when it's actually gone in as well, to make sure it's not the wrong voltage or amperage or whatever. So should be good, hopefully.
That's interesting solution, because underfloor heating, if you do the dig up your floor type heating, is expensive, isn't it?
Yeah.
And then you've got to build the smart controls into it.
Yes, yeah. So this is going to be relatively easy. Nice glass fronted thermostat which works for smart life, so we can integrate that into any of my systems, Wi-Fi based. It should pop up straight away into the Home Assistant. Now I should be able to use it. So that's the plan.
Nice. Anyway. That's a nice trick. Yeah, nice tool.
Oh, there was one other thing I wanted to talk about. So this is not such a good smart home service story. So I don't remember years ago. I've for a long time I've had a Netatmo welcome camera, which is now the indoor smart camera. And I've been hearing horror stories on the forums about this, and I don't quite know where this is at the moment. But people, after a recent firmware update, the camera's just stopping working. And then sort of going through a few things with Netatmo, and basically Netatmo was saying, "Oh yeah, the camera's now broken. You can send it off to us for repair, and we'll charge you X amount of money to repair it." Which, when it's been broken by a firmware update, does seem not good, and it does show you how at mercy of the company if you haven't got the ability to turn off a firmware update. If someone gets something wrong, and you're out of warranty, where do you lie with that? Is it? I mean, the legal ramifications that are interesting.
Yeah, out of warranty firmware update. Yeah, that's and most of the time these updates aren't optional; they're mandatory, aren't they? You don't get a choice.
Yeah, so it's an interesting one, and I don't quite know where to go with it. I mean, one of my cameras has stopped working in the process of doing this. Funnily enough, because I was actually told by their support team to actually do an upgrade, which is to try and fix another issue. But yeah,
that's always the first thing, isn't it? That support would say, isn't it? Get on the latest firmware and everything else. But firmwares can go bad, and recovery of them is sometimes you can't recover them. You need a factory sort of tool to reset them. Like with any service, though, you are at the mercy of the provider, and if they change their terms of service, it could be that that's you done. And if something stops working, you can pay for it. So it's the downside of having these sort of cloud protected, cloud services that the hardware is only a small part of it. You're buying into their ecosystem, and you've got to trust that they'll do the right thing. But it's a business interest, and they're not charities. So it can be an issue. So think that was everything we had for this week's show. I think we're going to take a week off next week. I'm out and about next week, and then we're back the week after, and I think we'll be talking Korg Wavestate. I will try and get our sort of more in-depth podcast on the Surface devices, so that should be coming up in a few weeks' time as well. And I've still got the open offer. Anybody who wants to come on the show to talk about smart home, music tech, whatever things that we talk about, that just drop me a line in at thislife.com. We love getting guests on the show and talking to people about their experiences, no matter what it is, big or small or different technologies. We do like getting them onto the show. So we'll definitely do that. Just give us a plug on your channel. Have you managed to get it on your EV channel?
I've got some videos which I'm editing. It's just taking me forever to edit them. So it's the EV only channel on YouTube. I'm also going to resurrect the Fascinating Tech channel on YouTube fairly shortly as well. I've got some bits of things I want to show around the smart studio. So I've been setting this studio up for quite a while with smart technology, and it's been nice to actually show some of the stuff I've been working on.
Yeah, that would be good.
A bit more in depth, maybe a bit more in depth on something like the this thing, the Xiaoji. I'm trying to remember how to pronounce it. Xiaoji smart speaker, which that's actually working really well. I've upgraded the application on it now, and it's even more intelligent than it used to be. So it's quite good. It's also getting actually proactive rather than reactive, and maybe we'll go into that on a forthcoming show. Yeah, but that's basically what we're doing.
Excellent. And yeah, video editing is time consuming. I can do these some of my synth videos, like say the 5 minutes one take me 10 minutes to actually record, and then the rest of the time it takes ages to get it all nicely edited and everything else. But once you start on the multicams, I think when things get time consuming.
Yeah, and I've got a lot of those in the car videos, so it's always a pain to re-edit those. But I'll get there.
Yeah, excellent. Right, well, we'll be back in a couple of weeks. Don't forget, email thislife.com, or you get us on our YouTube channel. Thanks for watching, thanks for listening, and we'll see you in a couple of weeks.
Take care.